Okay, so we're gonna get started with triangle 1. In triangle 1, this is the three parts that we know what they are, and these are the three parts that we have to look for. So right here we have one side, which is AB equals 2 inches, and then we have angle A, which is 45 degrees, and angle B, which is 90 degrees. So we're going to be using these three parts to create our triangle, and once we have created our triangle, we can look for the side AB, or AC, I'm sorry, side BC, and then angle C. So for this triangle, we're only going to be using a protractor. Your protractor, remember, you're going to have to use your guiding hole right here, and that's going to be lined up to one of the points of the lines that we draw. And then for this protractor, it also has the guiding lines. The guiding lines are going to be this little white part right here, this little white line here, and also this little white line here. For other protractors, it might be easier because you're going to have a black line going through the whole thing. And as long as your guiding line is passing through your guiding hole, then you know you should be fine. So let's get started with this triangle. We're going to start again with AB equals 2 inches. So we're going to be drawing a line that is 2 inches long. So using your protractor, because my protractor has a ruler. If your protractor doesn't have a ruler attached to it, then you're going to have to use a ruler to do that. Remember that when you're measuring your line, you're starting at 0. This line right here is telling me that's where 0 is. So I'm going to start from there, and I'm going to go all the way to 2 inches. Stop at that big line where the 2 is. So there you go, we have a 2-inch line. So I'm going to write 2 inches here so I don't forget how many inches it is. We're also going to label this line segment. If we look right here, it said that AB equals 2 inches. So I'm going to put a little dot here, and I'm going to call that A. And I'm going to put a little dot here, and I'm going to call that B. So I'm going to scratch this off right here, because now I have my line segment AB 2 inches completed. Okay, so next we're going to be starting with our angles. I'm going to start with angle A. Angle A is 45 degrees. So just to make sure you guys remember how a protractor works, this is the guiding hole, and then this is the guiding line. I need to use both of those things to help me draw a perfect angle, or as perfect as I can. So once again, we're going to put the guiding hole to cover that little dot that I drew that represents point A. Then I'm going to use the guiding line to match the line I drew. So right here, right there, the guiding hole is now covering my the dot. You can see the dot through the guiding hole. Now I have to line up using this guiding line, my line, to make sure it's as straight as possible. It's a little hard to see with this protractor. If you have like the little black line, it'll be better. You're gonna make sure that the guiding line of the protractor is lined up perfectly with the line you drew. So now that I have it lined up perfectly, I need to make sure I remember that angle A has to be 45 degrees. So since this point is here, I'm going to make my angle go this way. So I'm going to be using the measurements that are 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and so on. I'm not going to be using the bigger angles because that will be for an obtuse angle, and then since this is 45 degrees, it's actually an acute angle. So what I'm going to do now is line up this little thing right here to show me where 45 degrees is. Obviously, since this is 40 degrees and 50 degrees, my 45 degree would be this line right here in the middle. Now that I have that lined up, I'm going to be drawing a dot. This protractor is a little different because this protractor has the little space where I could draw a line. But if you don't have that, don't worry about it. All you could do is draw a dot. Right here, this is my 45, so I'm going to draw a dot right there. There we go. That will be my angle A. So it's going to be from this dot to that dot. All you have to do now is just connect them using your straight edge or your ruler, whatever, to draw a straight line connecting both of them. I have lined up my two dots, so now all I have to do is draw a line. Since I don't know how long this line is going to be, I'm actually going to extend it a little farther. than the dot. That way, because what happens if my triangle is here? What happens if my triangle is there? I don't know how long it's going to be, so that's why I want you to actually extend the line a little longer than you would think. Okay, so there. If I look at this right now, if I line it up again, the guiding hole with my dot, and then my line with the guiding line, and I measure it, you're going to see that it is 45 degrees. It's actually a little off. I messed up a little bit, but it's okay because we're human. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just know that it's going to be 45 degrees, so I'm going to measure this right here, 45 degrees. Okay, we have that angle drawn, so now we're going to go with our last angle, B. This time I'm going to put my guiding hole lined up with the dot of the B, because obviously I'm going to get an angle B. This angle is supposed to be 90 degrees, so one more time, I'm going to line up the guiding hole with the dot, and then I'm lining up my guiding line with the line I drew. 90 degrees. Oh, messed it up. You gotta be very careful, because sometimes if you don't press hard, it's gonna move. So don't draw your dot until you make sure that the hole is lining up with the dot and that your line is lined up with the guiding line. Okay, so it's gonna be 90 degrees. So I'm gonna put the dot right there because that's 90 degrees. So now I have this dot and this dot. Make sure you're paying attention to the dot of B, not the previous dot. This dot was A. I'm looking at this dot, which is the one I just drew. Once again, you're going to connect it. Connect your dots. There you go. Now you have a triangle. So this was 90 degrees right here, and that's angle A and that's angle B. So now we're done with the three parts of our triangle. Now it's our job to find these missing parts right here. We need to find how long AC is. Obviously this point right here is going to be C now. So we're going to figure out how long is this segment segment AC. So you're going to use your ruler obviously and measure it. And then when you measure, you're going to put the number, how many inches it is right here. I'm going to measure angle B, I'm going to measure segment B to C. You're going to obviously put the 0 there, and you're going to measure it. And then you're going to put how many inches it was. The last thing we're going to do is measure angle C. This is the one angle that is missing. So in order to do that, I'm going to actually move my angle around. Okay, so we're going to basically kind of do the same thing, where this time we're measuring angle C, so we're measuring this angle right here. For that reason, I'm going to line up this dot right here with this dot, with my guiding hole. And once again, you're going to line up your line with the guiding line. Make sure it is as perfect as possible. Now, we're going to see where it goes. Right here, this line is going where the 45 degree is. So, for this angle, since it's going from here to here, this angle will be 45 degrees as well. I'm not going to show you the measurements of AC and BC because I feel like that's something you guys can do. I just wanted to make sure you guys understood how to measure this angle. So now I have all the sides. Obviously, once you figure out how long AC is, you're going to put the number there. And when you figure out how long BC is, you're going to put the number here. And there you go. You have three sides with their measurements, and you have three angles with their measurements. So I'm going to write it here. That one I know it's going to be 45 degrees. So that is it. That is how we do our triangle 1. So this is triangle 1. I'm going to give you a little trick, something that you know. So this is a way you can check. A triangle is made of 3 angles. Obviously we have angle A right here. That's one angle. We have angle B right here. That's 2 angles. And then we have angle C right here. That's 3 angles. So that is why it's called a triangle, because because we have 1, 2, 3, like a tricycle. 3 is tri and angle. So we have 3 angles. If you are to add up the 3 angles of your triangle, so 45 plus 45, that is obviously 90, and then 90 plus this 90, and that equals 180. You should technically get somewhere in the 180 range, because a triangle, if you add up all 3 angles, is always going to be 180 degrees. So that is a good way to check it to see if you made your triangle correctly. So once again, if you add up all 3 angles, 45, 90, and 45, that gave me 180. That means I made a perfect triangle because it measures 180 degrees. I told you guys before that for this project, I am going to allow you guys to be off by 5 degrees in each way. So when you when you add up your 3 angles, as long as you're somewhere between 175 and 185, I'm going to let you slide, so that's gonna be okay. But obviously we want to try to get as close to 180 as possible. So that's it for triangle A. I'm gonna now do triangle 2.